Hey, good morning, everybody. How's it going? What a day, what a weekend, whew, all the things are happening here. So let's talk about it, shall we? First thing, I got to brag on my personal self just a little bit. I got this Garmin watch thing here back in July, and I hit 1 million steps since I got it. It's like 530 miles of steps or something like that. I thought it was pretty crazy. Just saw that this morning. Hit that, I guess, sometime last evening, and I'm just right at 1 million steps so far. Um, yeah, get out there, do some physical fitness, try to get your steps, and yeah, does wonders for you. I've lost like 10 pounds since maybe I guess close to 15 pounds since last summer. So really been trying to get my fitness back up a little bit. And I'm sure these don't help, but drinking a bunch of sugar coffee doesn't help either. So these are 0 calorie though. Freaking love them. All right, let's jump into it. Talk about what's actually moving today. So throwing it over. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation, intended to be informational, educational, fun, is not a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire that personal financial advice, hire, consult a financial advisor. Little housekeeping. Today, 30 minutes of awesome coming up at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then I've got a pop-up meeting talking about crypto and Bitcoin and all the crazy stuff coming up at 7 o'clock. Probably not going to be live stream on YouTube. Come to the 5 p.m. 30 minutes of awesome. I'll throw out a link so you can make sure you come. So, morning, Kimberly. Morning, Yabar. Yarabar. Y Rabar 3. Morning. Yeah. So, I got 2 events coming up later today. And then, of course, in Discord all day long, if you want to come join us. The link's in the description down here. It's like $5. You can get in for, get in there and chat with everybody. So anyway, let's jump into a few more things here. CPI coming out this morning. Yeah, looks like came in line on the month over month, year over year, coming in line. No pop, no. I mean, the way the government's going to spend that, inflation's 0, right? No, that's not 0. That's 6% a year. Just coming in, it's not really increasing. It's not decreasing. It's just maintaining. It's steady. And we've got the core CPI though showing a little 0.5%, a little bit of pop there. That caused a little bit of chaos. That first 5-minute candle was like a 55-point candle on ES. A little bit crazy. Coming up later this evening, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, looks like Fed member Bauman speaking. And then tomorrow, a whole bunch of stuff. We got PPI, retail sales, Empire State Manufacturing. Just a whole slew of stuff coming in. 8:30 tomorrow morning. That's going to be a market mover too. Be careful out there. And then a relatively benign Thursday with unemployment claims and building permits and housing starts. And then on Friday, and we got some capacity utilization and stuff like that. But then next week we have the FOMC meeting coming up. So Mara's on the list. So we'll talk about that here in a minute, Harry. And that was definitely a mover. So, and the big news, Bitcoin breaking 26,000 this morning. So this is all part of what I'm going to talk about this evening at 7 p.m. So, all right. Lots of stuff moving, and let's jump into what we got here. Freaking alerts here. Bouncing right off the red zone. Coming right back up into this support resistance. May or may not spend much time here this time. It may just rip right on through. We're going to see. Somebody mentioned, not really complaining, but telling me I forgot to show the black chart yesterday. So we did poke right down below the line. Found support at a deeper level, the 88.7. If we pop right back up above this, that's going to be pretty bullish, and especially if we get above this high right here that we made like last week. If we we push above that, game's on for 4,300, and probably gonna see a move up into these higher levels, maybe around 45.80, and then eventually maybe even a higher high, new all-time high on the S&P. Now it seems impossible right now, right? Banks are blowing up, everything is horrible. Just think, if we'd get a Fed pivot, what kind of craziness that could bring in the market. And all the way back in 2001, a lot of us weren't trading back then, but some of us were. The Fed did a surprise cut. Like, nobody was expecting it. We came in, it was just got through the holidays. In the first meeting of the year, they did a surprise cut in 2001, and we saw a 20% rally on NASDAQ. Now, what could that do if we saw that kind of move? Like, what do you think kind of numbers we would hit on a 20% rally in one day right now? All right. So I want you to make sure you're careful out there. If they do a surprise cut next week, then nobody's kind of expecting to try to quell the banking problems that they've created. Watch out. I mean, this thing could rip higher. All right. So just wanted to throw that out there, that's a possibility that nobody's expecting. None of the numbers are expecting a cut. And you might say, oh, blah, 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 I don't know that they would cut. Well, we don't know the whole details on what they've got going on. Like, they may be actually scared that they're about to break the system here. I know Powell, even last week during the hearings, was quite hawkish and saying, oh, I think I could raise another 0.5 point and, whatever. But then we had, 3 banks blow out, almost 4, 5, I think almost 6 failed total. Some people don't count Silvergate, but I count Silvergate because they were the banker of, they actually were listed on the banking sheet. I pulled up the list from the Federal Reserve of all the banks, all the commercial banks. That's 2,124 banks. Silvergate's on there, and they blew up. Nobody's bailing them out, so they're going into liquidation. Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and then you've got some others that are distressed that they're trying to help out. Everybody's trying to keep it on the quiet because it's not good for investors and business if you go out of business. I mean, so yeah. All right. So that's part of the technical analysis. Anticipating trend changes before they make sense. I mean, that's the whole point of technical analysis. That's why I use it heavily. It's helped me in my trading immensely, is being able to see the patterns on the charts and anticipate the moves before anything makes sense. So S5FI coming down here in the reversal zone, spending 2 days down here now. Today we'll get the third day. We don't have any data for this is an end of day measure right here, the little E that's showing up right there. If we see this thing rip like we have seen before, in a few days time, we can be, significantly higher. And this is stocks above, S&P 500 stocks above their 50-day moving average. And right now we closed the day yesterday at 16%. And typically we do not hang out below 20 very long. When the market's kind of being normal, we hang out between 20 and 80 and just kind of oscillate in that zone. When things are extreme, we poke out above 80 or below 20, and then we typically get a reaction. You can see last time it took us a little while to get down here, but we got down here. I was not expecting to break below 40, but we did. Got a little deeper retrace than I was hoping or planning for, but it's all within parameters. So you got to know your parameters. This simple chart I was showing yesterday, the most simple of simple S&P 500 charts, we glanced right off of this. If we get a bounce here, this can be extremely bullish. That 40, right around 40.50 is going to be that high. If we get above that, we're probably going to 4,300, and then we'll find out what kind of resistance we have there, because that's where we topped out back here, and lots of sellers came in. Took us all the way to the lowest low from that point. So that will be resistance. There will be supply there. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows where we topped in August. So it's going to be a psychological level. So, all right, let's actually talk about what's moving today, what's shaking. Not on this chart. We need to pop back over this chart. So ES, getting a nice rally so far. So far, so good. In Q, nice rally, held the roadmap line. Much better, much stronger looking chart than the S&P 500. So big tech is probably going to lead us right here. That's what that's indicating to me. Now, what goes along with big tech has been crypto for the last couple of years. So we'll talk about that here in just a minute. I've got lots of them on the list down here. Russell, strong reversal, almost an engulfing candle for yesterday. Watch for that one to take a rip. Now, what's in Russell is a lot of our small caps. That's smaller banks. And the dollar coming down, resting right on that support resistance line. We start pushing on down through that. We could see the dollar drop on into the 90s. What that's going to do is going to pop gold and it's going to pop crypto probably. That's probably going to be the side effects. So FA stuff moving. 3X banks, this is your financial bear. This one's dropping like crazy. Now what's the opposite of that one that would be popping? It's FAS right here. So this one bottomed out about 55 yesterday, right at the close, and already up to 61.90 this morning. Now another one that if you want to go for the smaller banks, regionals, look at this baby, 44 to 49 already. This one's probably going to recover. And one interesting thing on KRE, I was trying to get into some options longer term yesterday to really try to give myself room for this thing to recover strongly, and they were pricing them out. Like it reminded me of the way GME and the options dealers had priced out people playing options on GME when it was going crazy. That's GameStop back a couple years ago. So the market makers all know it's going to recover. So maybe some shares and shoot for about 60 if you're going to take that kind of play. Maybe something just right back over, right back up in the middle here where it was consolidating. So that's one way to do it. Now, Bitcoin, look at this baby. Poked up through 26,000 already. It's on the way up to this target right around here. Minimum target's probably 29,000, but this 30 to 34,000 area probably looking, my ideal target right around 33. We may stretch it on up to 35. What's that going to do? Well, all the miners are going to go with it. Ethereum's got a little bit less bullish pattern right now, probably going to top out about 1900 and then get a retrace back down to the zone one more time. Just the way the chart is, sure, money flowing in can take them all up, but Ethereum's been on a different path. It bottomed back here in July, or June, I guess, June time, excuse me, back in this earlier summer, made a higher low here in October, whereas Bitcoin made its lowest low right here in November. It was much higher back here in June. So they're on a little bit different paths technically. So just be careful. Don't be surprised if Ethereum kind of stalls out around 1900, 2000, and then gets a pullback. Now, some of the ones I like, looking at crypto continuing, Mara, looking super bullish. We break out above this line right here. Try to click on it. I say way too much. Right around 856. We break out above that. We're probably on this path to get to, now I know I have a big giant arrow on there, but the real target's probably right in this zone around 1450 or so. That you might say, whoa, that sounds crazy. That's the kind of path, that's the kind of setup that we have cooking right now, right up there around 1450. Now we break on out. Suppose Bitcoin goes ripping on out. We have a bigger target up here, and then ultimately, I've got some other targets that I talk about in crypto power plays, which come join that if you really want to know the nitty gritty. I do in-depth analysis on this every single week and put it out there. So other ones that could be a smart choice, BITO. Look at that baby ripping. This is a Bitcoin futures ETF right here. I actually have $10 strike calls. That's way down here. $10 strike calls out to 2025 on BITO. Now, you might look at those and you go, whoo, those are kind of expensive right now. But, buying anything in this zone right here, 14, 15, could be smart. Why go in the money? Because look at where we're going. If we just go back to the all-time high, we're going to 45. If we go to any kind of extension, we're probably going in the 50s, 60s, and this one could hit like 80 on the next run in Bitcoin. So I'm very hyped up on the halving event run, and this is just the beginning for Bitcoin. You might say, oh, it's a fad, it's a whatever. I don't believe that way. So, yeah. All right. I think that banks aren't necessarily headed bullish, but I think they're headed for a recovery. I mean, we see FRC, First Republic Bank, getting a nice little pre-market pop, and now it's a open market, looks like. So we've got a pop. We have an opportunity for recovery as support comes in for the banks. So be careful. Look at all these Bitcoin alerts, Hive. I have a potential pattern for this one to go up to about $2 on Hive. Same on Hive. BTBT is the one for $2. Hive is a little different path, probably up in the $6 area. So getting those alerts that I've set. Wall, again, another bank that was overly killed, probably going to get some recovery. PACW, another one. Don't play these short term. Like they can have some volatility short term, but they're probably going to come back up as support from the government and other programs come in for these banks. Like I said, it's bad for business if you go out of business. So bad for investors, bad for people that have money tied up in these. So there's going to be a lot of effort to try to save the financial system, save the banks. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of recovery. You can make some money on buying these dips, but be careful. The weaker banks could still have problems and get liquidated. So just be cautious. Try to find ones that are looking better. Pay attention to their numbers here. I mean, these guys lose 70 cents. These guys right here, surprising down 64 cents, but they still made some money. Check the history. These guys right here, and doing all right. Surprising down a little bit. Let's see if we still got Silicon Valley Bank on here. See, they surprised down a few times, but they were still making money, so you got to be careful. I mean, all of a sudden it can just pop. It's not just about whether they're making money. You got to look at what kind of losses are they carrying. I shared in Discord yesterday quite a few charts on open net losses for banks. So if you want to see that kind of information, come join me. All right, more stuff moving. Here's a regional 3X bull. Here's another one. You can buy some $11. You can just buy stock on that one. I'm sure there's calls too. That one's probably going to come back up in the $25 area. So you could potentially double your money just running from 11 back up to 22. I'd probably lean toward shares because that's going to take a little while, I'm sure. So DPST, I think there was another one, BNKU, big bank, 3X leverage ETN. Looks like pulling back just a little bit. That one could be another opportunity to not quite double your money there. Looks like a return back up to this 28 to 30 zone would be what I would expect. All right. MNTV, nice pop there. No idea why. Didn't hit any of my news this morning. Let's see. Looks like some kind of merger agreement, so be careful on that one. CMA, that looks like another bank stock of some sort. Yeah, major bank. Dip, is it going to rip back? I don't know. That's definitely a lower low than we've seen for quite a long time. AMLX, pharmaceutical, those are incredibly difficult, and it looks like it's just stuck in the range there. Zion, another bank. Lots of banks showing up today. Probably going to get some recovery. Let's see. I haven't even seen this before. Coinbase daily ETF here. So there was some FUD put out by Bear Cave yesterday, going through Coinbase's risk and the fact that they may not be out of the woods yet. So be careful on this one. It could, coin could get hit a little bit if their numbers aren't as great as their, if they're not on the financial footing that they say they are. But I do have a target up here around on Coinbase if it can pull out of this retrace that it did right here. This is a measured bounce setup for running right up here around 100, 110. So that's a nice strong one there. So CONL is the leveraged if you just wanted to go with a few shares, but you can see it's not been moving so great since this thing was put into the market here. So I'd be careful on that one. And finally, the last one showing up was Schwab. Got smacked down yesterday, popping back up. The recovery would be back up here to around 79. So 59 to 79, that's a pretty good little pop. This is not going to happen in one day. It's probably going to take a couple days, a few days, a couple weeks, maybe. We do have resistance right there where it is. You know, it was support, now it's resistance on the way back up. So be careful there. All right. Remember, I got 30 minutes of awesome tonight where I take your request for at least 30 minutes. I'll go through whatever you want to look at. And then we have a crypto flash meeting coming up at 7 that these are Eastern times. 5 p.m. is 30 minutes of awesome. I'll have the link up for that live stream here in a little bit. And then 7 o'clock will be not on YouTube, but I'll have the link for it at 30 minutes of awesome. All right. Thanks for coming, everybody. Be careful out there. Watch the markets. Looks like we might get a little bounce today. IWM, one last little thing here. IWM had a big gap up. This thing does not tend to leave its gaps for the day, so watch that one. We may get an opportunity to trade that one for a gap fill before IWM gets the bigger move, but I'm thinking with this bullish momentum here, I'm not so sure we're going to retrace even the small caps. So just watch for something to happen here. So, all right, that's it for the day. You want to come join me in Discord? The link's in the description. Remember to subscribe and hit the alert with the little notice so you can get notifications when I go live again this evening and tomorrow morning for the next morning monster. Thanks for coming, everybody. See you again tomorrow.